Welcome to the Ingram Micro B2B Tech Talk podcast. We bring you the insights you need on IoT, AI, and the future of technology.
Hi, Shannon.
Hi, Paul.
Thanks for being here today.
Thank you so much for having me.
So we're going to be talking about virtualization.
Correct.
Where would you say the virtualization space is going at the moment? What can we explain where we are now? And then maybe what we can then do is talk about what we want to talk about.
Yeah, for sure. So I think, like you say, there's been a lot of noise. There's been a significant amount of disruption in the virtualization market, not only to end user customers, but also to channel partners as well. So following on from the acquisition of VMware by Broadcom back in 2023, there's been a lot of significant changes around how licensing works, increasing costs as well, and it's not really given a lot of flexibility for customers, and they're looking for alternatives. And I think we'll start to see a relatively big shift to different hypervisors and even other technologies such as containers and even back to bare metal.
Yeah, because this has caused a lot of worry in the channel for pretty much everyone, right?
Yeah.
So with that in mind, what have HPE done around this space then?
Yeah, so we've kind of taken a multifaceted approach as well towards our virtualization strategy. So we still partner, with the likes of Microsoft Azure Local, Nutanix as well to offer customers alternative hypervisors. But we want to have an element of control as well. So what we have done is we've brought to market our own hypervisor called HPE Morpheus VM Essentials software. So we want to give customers, a level of flexibility and choice around their virtualization strategy.
So from this point on, I think, is it okay to refer to this lovely punchy title as VME?
That's absolutely
fine.
Are
we okay with that?
We can
That's
do
cool.
that. Sure.
Okay, so let's go through VME. What is VME?
When we acquired Morpheus data last summer, so almost 12 months ago now, Morpheus had actually built their own hypervisor that they were using internally for their own use, built on KVM. So they'd been using that for over 4 years. It ran hundreds of virtual machines themselves. So what we were able to do was take that element of software and spin it out as its own individual offering to give customers as a different alternative in the market as well. So it can use both VM Essentials, but what you can also do, which is unique, is to be able to brownfield in your existing VMware vSphere environments and manage everything from a single interface.
So what does VME include and what makes it attractive to partners?
One of the great things about VM Essentials is that it's just a single license, and then you can just select which term that you would prefer. So it comes in a 1, 3, and a 5-year offering. All the management and all of the support is included. There's no different tiers. Everything that you get with VM Essentials is included. So all the things around, live migration between hosts, the ability to, do DRS as well, capabilities, and, the different protocols. So we can do NFS, GFS2, as well as local storage as well. So it includes a lot of great capabilities as well, high availability as well. So lots of benefits to VM Essentials, and with it just being a single offering, it makes it really nice and easy for partners to be able to attach this on to solutions as well. So we do support the HPE portfolio and are also extending out the capabilities to third-party hardware such as the likes of Dell, Pure, and NetApp today.
Tell me more about the single licensing.
Yes. So the single license is, really different to what else is in the market at the minute, particularly with all the changes from Broadcom. So whereas other virtualization offerings are priced per core, VM Essentials is priced per CPU. So regardless of the number of cores in the processor or, how many virtual machines are running on the system, it's one license per CPU, which is a really great benefit to customers and makes it really easy for partners to quote.
And it makes it a lot more economical as well.
Absolutely. a great sustainability message in there as well, that, customers can take advantage of high core processors and, condense down the number of, physical servers that they need, all while not impacting the virtualization licensing.
Why should partners be considering this?
It's something that partners should consider, particularly if, they weren't invited back to Broadcom's Partner Advantage program as well, which means, they may be unable to resell the VMware licenses. So they'll be looking for alternatives of what to offer. And with it being, a HPE solution, you've got an all-in-one system that you can go and sell to customers with a single, kind of support chain as well, with enterprise grade support from HPE. So it's really something that partners can do. From a standalone perspective, it's a channel only offering as well. It's not a solution that we will take direct to our customers. So it's really beneficial for partners to take full advantage of a new hypervisor offering in the market.
So we've talked about licensing.
Yes.
How does that fit from a pricing perspective?
It works out at roughly $50 per month, so around $600 per CPU per year for customers as well, to take advantage of that pricing. And in comparison, to a vSphere offering, for example, you could make savings up to 87% in comparison to VMware today. So it's a really lucrative offering for both customers and partners to take advantage of.
I think potentially when you look at the way that traditional virtual machines are licensed, this is completely different, right? So it's not relevant to the number of cores that you have. So if you've got a lot of cores in your environment, then VM Essentials can be massively cost effective, right? So the ROI is potentially huge on this.
Depending on how much of the environment a customer migrates over to VM Essentials, within the first kind of 6 months to a year, they could even, see a huge ROI within a matter of months. But a lot of customers will take more of a phased approach to this.
Yeah, so that was going to be my next question is, right, so how do we get a customer that is 190% on...
Yeah.
On a different hypervisor, and what's their journey going to look like from point A to point B when we talk potentially about migrating over into VME?
VM Essentials, with it being a relatively new offering to the market, whilst it's technically a 1.0 to customers, it's already on its 8.07 release because of the integration that's come from Morpheus as well. So it's got a lot of functionality already, very, high functionality offering, but some of the, third-party ISV support might be lacking at this time. So currently we do support Veeam, Commvault and Cohesity, but there might be other, backup providers that customers utilize that aren't yet supported on VM Essentials as well. So what we would say for customers is that, they typically take, kind of their business, maybe not the mission critical, but maybe their, second, third tier applications over to VM Essentials to start, and then over time, as their contracts with their other hypervisor solutions are kind of coming to an end, begin to migrate. So over a period of time, they can see the ROI really come into effect.
Yeah, I think you touched on something that I think is really important actually, that the version of VM Essentials. So you've launched it out to the channel. It's a new product on the face of it.
Yes.
But it's actually it's not. And I think that is important, because I think there might be a bit of reticence to buy a completely new thing into the market.
Yeah.
But knowing that it's a mature technology
Yeah.
that's already been tested before it's been announced to the channel, I think is quite important, and it will give partners some satisfaction to know that it isn't just a completely new product and you're making it up as you go along, so to speak.
100%. Yeah, and it's built on KVM, which has been around for a number of years. There's a lot of other virtualization solutions out in the market today that utilize KVM, and we're not doing anything different there. We're packaging this up as a single solution for customers to be able to utilize as well. And, it's a really valuable offering. And for partners as well, we've got NFR licenses available for them to utilize. So 1 year NFR license available for up to 8 processors as well. So partners can get hands-on with it, demo it out to their customers as well. And from a customer perspective, we've also got 60-day free trial as well. So, we're giving customers and partners the ability to utilize VM Essentials before, making that big commitment.
Yeah, I think that's important that, partners do realize that they can get hold of this, so they can have a play around with it, get comfortable with it, and then, then it makes it a lot easier to actually transition over into that. I'm thinking that there might be another way that we can look at this in terms of how do we help the partners assess where they are to where they want to go. Now, I'm thinking that we could maybe talk about cloud physics, how this can be a massively powerful tool in this virtualization space.
Yeah, so Cloud Physics, for those who aren't familiar, is a assessment tool which runs across, a customer's environment today. So it will pull all of the virtualization stats, all of the hardware stats as well, and it will give a good insight into how their environment, the health status essentially, and what it can do as well from a virtualization standpoint, and why it's so valuable is show exactly, how optimized your vCPU and your VRAM is as well. So we can look at, can customers make savings on their existing licenses as well, and how can they consolidate down to help reduce, some existing virtualization licensing costs. And one of the key things that we've just launched within Cloud Physics is the host license simulator. So what you can do, so at this time, and we've got an exciting update which I'll share in a moment, Cloud Physics runs along VMware only at this time. But what you can do is you can, do some scenarios as to, this is my existing environment. From a list price perspective, this is what the VMware cost would be across the different license versions, and it will do a comparison as to if you were to consolidate down and how that would look from a VM Essentials perspective and what the savings you can make. So in some scenarios, if customers, and we know, the changes that Broadcom have made are being forced to go down the VMware Cloud Foundation route, for example, whereas they might not need that functionality, they may only need, kind of vSphere standard or foundation level functionality, then we can even see savings of up to 97% within that host license simulator.
Well, I've seen that, and it is kind of jaw-dropping when you look at the numbers that are produced. So I think as a takeaway from listening and watching this, speak to someone about Cloud Physics, getting it into your prospects' environment. It's really simple to do as well, right?
Yeah, and it's vendor agnostic as well. So it doesn't just look at HPE hardware. It looks at, all of the competitive hardware as well, and it gives a real insight. It's easy. Like you said, it's super easy to deploy. It's just an agent that runs on the vCenter. It takes 5 minutes to deploy, and then within 15 minutes you're starting to get live data reporting from metadata, and then we'd recommend running it for a minimum of 2 weeks so that we can see exactly what the environment's doing, look for trends and patterns, and it will also, for partners, produce a really nice report that they can share with a customer as well, and give that kind of prescriptive recommendations for their environment rather than generic kind of information and sizing. And something that's really exciting that we announced at HPE Discover last month was Cloud Physics Plus, Have you heard about Cloud
I
Physics
have
Plus
not.
yet, Paul?
No, I have not.
So this is something that partners have been asking us for a long time is, can we look at alternative hypervisors? Can we look at, even into the public cloud to get these, stats and recommendations from Cloud Physics? And come October this year, we'll be able to look at bare metal, other hypervisors. So a lot of people have been asking for Hyper-V. That will now be available into the public cloud, and also containers. So really exciting enhancements that are coming to Cloud Physics Plus, that we can get all the great benefits of Cloud Physics, but extend out from just a VMware environment.
How do you see VM Essentials evolving over the next, I don't know, let's say 6 to 12 months?
Yeah.
I won't ask you for anything further on than that, but where do we see it going?
It's a really exciting time at the minute with VME, because the development is continuous. There's so much engineering effort that is going into, bringing this to a level that, customers would be prepared to use as their sole hypervisor as well. There's a few kind of big rocks that they like to call it, features that will be kind of closed in the next 6 to 12 months. So that's things like Zerto support. So that will be done by the end of this calendar year, which is really exciting for customers for those DR capabilities. And then we'll also have the ability early next calendar year to do kind of metro clustering and that kind of peer persistence as well with VM Essentials. And then from there, I don't think there's kind of any major gaps that we would have from a hypervisor perspective. So we're just continuing, to develop and enhance with more feature and functionality. Whether we'll, see the integration of other hypervisors, or bring in, public cloud into the management plane, remains to be seen, but there's some really good enhancements coming in the next 6 to 12 months.
So I think that's really just to sort of solidify the robustness of the offering, right? And I think we're moving in that right direction. I think what we need to do now is really sort of get the partners to download the NFRs, start having to play with it, and involve us for any sort of conversations that we can have in parallel with their customers to help them to smooth that transition over. So I'm really excited about the prospect of what we have ahead for us on this.
There's lots of opportunity for both end user customers and also the partners with VM Essentials, with how it will evolve as well. And, the integrations with, more third party hardware and third party software as well is only going to make it a really strong, viable offering for customers. And, if they do need, they want to use VM Essentials for a hypervisor, but they also might want to look at Nutanix. A lot of customers today don't necessarily want to have a single hypervisor strategy anymore because of, how much they've potentially been burned following this acquisition.
That's a key message now, right? Is just, everyone's just moved along in that certain format and realised that being locked into it doesn't not necessarily virtualized, but just being locked into a specific vendor or technology is quite limiting if the rug gets pulled and you're left with having to make some really quite difficult decisions. So I think this having this additional option that is viable and it's a workable solution, I think is really valuable for everyone involved.
Yeah, I think, like you say, a lot of customers were blindsided by the change. Some of the stories we've been hearing, customers having up to 15 times cost increases, and being forced to move away from these virtualization solutions because they physically just cannot pay that. They just don't have the ability to do so. So with VME being able to from the console manage your existing VMware environment, so you can start to consolidate down and do a migration across, is really key. And if you are looking at, like I say, other solutions as well. If you use the full kind of Morpheus Enterprise solution, you can manage absolutely everything all from a single interface. So not having to, use multiple different management consoles. If you want to kind of, put your eggs in more than one basket with your virtualization, and even, your container and your public cloud strategy, but having a unified management interface with Morpheus Enterprise is something that's really differentiated for customers today.
That's great. Thanks, Shannon.
Thanks you.
Thanks for being with us today. It's great.
Thank you so much for having me, Paul.